go to fellowships.
Right.
And Nancy Beck.
That's me again. Okay.
And
Shakisha,
Shakisha
right here, from
Thank
FDA.
from FDA. Thank you. And we're very excited about this also, really happy. So, and I think for this you have slightly more time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both of them.
Okay, so Reagan-Udall is excited to debut our inaugural fellowship. This is the first one. We actually have a statutory mandate to develop fellowships in regulatory science. And although there's a lot of sort of conversation about what is regulatory science, how do you define it, we use FDA's definition of, well, actually I should have written that down if I was going to quote it. But let's see, tools, diagnostics, manufacturing techniques, basically to be able to better assess the safety, efficacy, quality of all FDA regulated products. So we have this mandate, and we are getting started with our first one in the area of Alzheimer's disease. And so we're working with FDA and the Alzheimer's Association to do this pilot fellowship, which is, we're actually taking applications now for the fellowship. So we'll talk more about that in a minute, and just wanted to get that plug in. And there's some flyers back on the table by the door about this fellowship. And Shakisha Klingman is here from FDA, and she's going to talk about how we chose Alzheimer's disease as an area and why this is a priority for FDA for a first fellowship from Reagan-Udall. And the goals of this fellowship really are to find an experienced clinician who's dedicated to treating Alzheimer's disease or other dementias, to help facilitate communication and collaboration between FDA and academic researchers, industry, patient groups, patients. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Shakisha.
Hi, thanks Nancy and the Reagan-Udall board for giving me the opportunity to represent CEDAR today. Oops, there we go. Okay, so CEDAR FDA is excited to partner with Reagan-Udall and also the Alzheimer's Association for this pilot program, Fellowship in Regulatory Science. Advancing regulatory science is the cornerstone of FDA's mission. That is to assure the safety, efficacy, and security of the products that we regulate. Over the years, our mission has been broadened to also include helping to speed innovations that make medicines more effective, safer, and more affordable. To this end, FDA has a vested interest in training scientists and physicians in the scientific areas that support clinical development as well as the regulatory review process. As Nancy mentioned, this is the first collaborative effort between FDA and Reagan-Udall to support education and training, and we hope that it's the first of hopefully several other fellowships to come. So why did we choose Alzheimer's disease as the focus of our first joint fellowship? Well, as most of you know, Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia, with more than 5 million Americans living with the disease. It is also the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. And the impact of Alzheimer's will inevitably grow as the population ages. Those of us with family members or friends living with the disease know all too well that it is an enormous health, emotional, and financial burden. Despite several advances in understanding the mechanism of disease for Alzheimer's and also billions of dollars invested in drug development programs, there is still no effective cure for the disease, means of prevention, or disease-modifying treatment available. Given the failure of several high-profile drug development programs in late stages of clinical development, this has caused FDA and the scientific community to rethink how we develop these drugs and also evaluate them. The Reagan-Udall Foundation and the Alzheimer's Association are ideal partners for FDA in this effort as we share a common vision to advance science to support R&D, leading to effective treatments for Alzheimer's. All three organizations recognize that developing a strong regulatory science workforce is central to achieving this goal. The fellowship program provides a unique opportunity for CEDAR to engage its stakeholders involved in Alzheimer's disease research. For example, there are a number of public-private partnership and consortia efforts underway to support the development of improved clinical trial designs, qualification of biomarkers, as well as development of other drug development tools for Alzheimer's disease. And so it's our intent that the fellow will help the agency catalog these efforts and also identify synergies to advance development. The fellowship program is also a tremendous opportunity for the prospective fellow, as he or she will have the opportunity to gain hands-on experience in regulatory science and regulatory review by working closely with our review division, the Division of Neurology Products within CEDAR. So in closing, I'll just say again that FDA is really excited to be partnering with Reagan-Udall on this effort, and we hope eventually to broaden this pilot program to include other areas of focus, such as other therapeutic areas, as well as other regulatory science disciplines such as pharmacology and toxicology, which all are needed to inform the development of effective drugs and therapeutics. Thank you.
Okay, then I'm just going to wrap this up by letting you know about some of the logistics. This was managed by RUF in conjunction with FDA and the Alzheimer's Association, who actually provided the funding for the fellowship. We're looking for one fellow. It's a 2-year fellowship. It's open now. We have a deadline at the end of August, and then the fellow would have a flexible start date. And again, we're looking for a qualified clinician, or an experienced clinician who's dedicated to working on Alzheimer's disease or other dementias, that has some experience with the design and conduct of clinical trials. Knowledge of the Alzheimer's disease research landscape would be helpful, and also if experience with working with multiple stakeholders and putting together partnerships or working in partnership would also be a plus. And as Shikesh said, this pilot will hopefully serve as a model for additional disease-specific or topic-specific fellowships. And right now, RUF is beginning to think about how to structure a larger education and training program. And so the fellowships will be one component of a larger overarching framework. And I just wanted to mention legal over here. It just reminded me to tell everyone that the fellow will not be an employee of Reagan-Udall or FDA. They will be a contractor of, right, okay. Well, there is that too. The disclaimers are you won't be an employee of Reagan-Udall or FDA. You'll be a contractor of Reagan-Udall, and the fellow cannot be an employee of regulated industry for this fellowship. Okay.
So thank you.
Yes.
This is really an important new direction and future direction for Reagan-Udall. It's taken a lot of time to get it done, but now we have a model. And, I'm sorry, Diane.
I do have a question.
Sure.
I just wondered, obviously Alzheimer's often used as interchangeably with dementia. So is this specific to Alzheimer's or more general to dementia?
For now,
Can you just go to,
Go ahead.
And Nancy certainly has
you got the easy
this
question.
information. But yes, the current focus of the program is Alzheimer's disease. So who knows, we may have an opportunity to broaden it to other dementias.
Any other questions from the board? Or comments? So again, public will get invited soon. So this is really important to take note of. We think we can do much more in this area. With all diseases, it's a real opportunity for us to do it now. It took a while to get it together, but we now know how to do it, and we'll be contacting many of you for your recommendations, and maybe resources. So Jane, why don't you just wrap up?